Good morning, students. Last week we have studied about resources and industries. Now we are going to study Unit 5 India, Population, Transport, Communication, and Trade. What is population? It is nothing but the number of people living in a country or in a particular place. What is transport? In order to move or transfer from one place to another, either goods or services or human being, we use transport. What is communication? Exchange of message from one person to another. What is trade? Exchange of goods and services. So, in this, what are the major learning objectives of this lesson? Learning objectives to study the levels of urbanization and its impacts in India, to know about the human development in India, to learn the transport systems of India, to understand the communication system of India, to assess the nature of trade in India. The study on human population is one of the most important aspects in geography. The major components of population are its number, composition, distribution, and density. We'll study about all these elaborately in this lesson. The population in India, as per 2011 census, is 1210.19 million. What is population? The total number of people living or residing in a country at a specified period of time is called the population of that country. India is the second most populous country next to China in the world. In area wise, India stands in the seventh place with only 2.4 percentage of the land area of the world. But it is the home of about 17.5 percentage of the world's population. It shows that the proportion of population of India is far higher than the proportion of its area. Next, what is census? Census, it is the total process of collecting, compiling, analyzing, or otherwise disseminating demographic, economic, social data pertaining at a specific time of all persons in a country or a well defined part of a country. What is that? Collecting. You know, once in 10 years, they'll come and collect the data from home to home. Okay, from each and every home, they collect the data about the number of people, what about their age, education, uh, many things they'll ask, occupation, etc. etc. After collecting that data, they have to compile all that. What is compiling? They have to put together because they take from each home. So they have to put all the data together. How many of them are there? What about their age composition? What about their occupation? In order to know that, they have to compile all that. After compiling that, they'll analyze, as I said, what is their occupation, whether they are living in rural area or in urban area. Like that, they analyze all those things or otherwise disseminate. That is, we can say that in Tamil as parapudal demographic, economic, social data, whatever data they have collected. It may be the details of number of people, it may be their economic status, it may be their social condition, all that they may collect at a specific period of time. That is, within that year, they collect all that about all the persons in a country or in a particular part of a country, we can say. So, it is taken once in 10 years. This data is used for various purposes like administration, planning, policy making, as well as management and evaluation of various programs. Administration to even to segregate the country into various constituency, they use that When the population is very high, they may separate the district like that for various purpose administration. Planning, when we say according to the number of people there, they'll be deciding whether the schools are enough, whether the employment opportunities are enough. Like that, they have to plan, they have to make the policies. Okay, all these may be done with the help of this census only. Without census, they cannot know all these things. Next, maybe when did they take that first census? In India, the first census was carried out in the year 1872, but the first complete and synchronized census was conducted in 1881. And the 2011 census represents the 15th census of India. Okay, so next we are going to study about density of population and distribution of population, we can say. What is density of population? Density, when we say, it is the number of people living per square kilometer. When we say distribution of population, it may be how many people are living in a particular area will give us the distribution of population. The term population distribution refers to the way the people are spaced over the Earth's surface. The distribution of population in India is quite uneven. Why it is uneven? Because of the variation in the availability of resources. Because all the resources are not concentrated in all the places. It may be available in one place, in another place it may not be available. The agricultural land may be good in one place, in other place it may not be. So the population is also not concentrated evenly in all the places. Where there is industrial centers and agricultural lands, the population will be concentrated in high number. In high mountains, arid lands, thickly forested areas, and in remote centers where the facilities are less, the population will also be less. And in some places, there is no population, or it is called as uninhabited. No one will live there. The major factors which affect the population distribution are terrain, what type of physical feature it has, climate, what type of climate is prevailing over there, soil, water bodies, mineral resources, industries, transport, and urbanization. Which is the most populous state? Uttar Pradesh is the most populous state, whereas Sikkim is the least populous state. Least means very less population. Delhi, that is the Union Territory, with 16.75 million population. Why there is uneven distribution? I told you already, because of various factors. The physical factor may vary, or the socio-economic factor may vary, or historical factor may be there. The physical factors, when we say the relief, climate, water, vegetation, minerals, and energy resource, all these will affect the population. The socio-economic factors, when we say, it may be religion, culture, political issues, economy, human settlements, transport network, industrialization, urbanization, employment opportunity, etc. Next, what is density? I told you already, number of persons or people living per square kilometer will give us the density. According to 2011, the average density of India is 382 persons per square kilometer. The most densely populated state is Bihar. Arunachal Pradesh is with less density. Among union territories, Delhi is the densely populated one with 11,297 per square kilometer, whereas Andaman and Nicobar Islands are with less density. In your book, you just go through the table under the title Spatial Pattern of Population Density to know the places with very low density, that is less than 150 persons per square kilometer, low density, that is from 150 to 300 persons per square kilometer, moderate density 300 to 500 persons per square kilometer. High density 500 to 1000 persons per square kilometer, and very high density greater than 1000 persons per square kilometer. You just go through the table. The places are given where they have that very low density, moderate density, uh, high density, and very high density. Next, we are going to see about the population growth and change. What is that population growth? The growth rate of population is an important demographic feature. What is growth rate? Growth rate is nothing but it is the difference between the number of live birth and death rate. When we calculate that number of birth rate, that is birth rate, sorry, not number of birth rate, it is the number of live birth we have to consider, because sometimes at the time of birth some children may die. So when 1000 children born, how many are alive? That is called as birth rate. When we calculate the death rate, we have to take among 1000 persons, how many have died. Okay, the death per 1000 will give us the death rate. It helps us to understand the population change that a society has undergone and helps in predicting the future demographic characteristics of an area. Growth of population in India has gone through the different phases. For population of the country in 1901 was 238 million, and it grew to 1210 million over a period. There are different stages of population growth in India. What are the various stages? The first stage may be, you see, the period of stagnant population. How will they calculate that? With the help of the birth rate and death rate. Okay. In those days, the death rate was greater than the birth rate. Okay. But now the death rate is lesser than the birth rate, we can say. So there is variation in the growth. So the period of stagnant population 1901 to 1921. For these 20 years, the population of India grew by 15 million. The year 1921 registered a negative growth rate of minus 0.31 percentage, which happened only once throughout the demographic history of India and is called the year of great demographic divide. Okay, why was it happened? Because the death rate was high at that time. Second stage is the period of steady growth, that is from 1921 to 1951. During this time, the population of India grew by 110 million. Third stage, the period of steady growth, that is from 1951 to 1981. Population grew from 361 million in 1981 to 683 million in 1981. During this time, growth rate doubled. So this period was called as population explosion. Okay, it was very high. So since it is doubled, it was called as explosion. And the fourth one, the period of high growth with the definite signs of slowing down. Population, that is from 1981 to 2011, population increased from 685 million to 1210 million. Okay. Next one, we are going to see about the population change. What is that? It refers to an increase or decrease of population of an area from one period to another period. Population growth is influenced by the birth rate, death rate, and migration. Already I have told you what is birth rate. What is birth rate? Number of live birth per 1000 will give us birth rate. What is death rate? Number of death per 1000 will give us the death rate. Next we are going to see about migration. What is migration? Moving from one place to another. Who moves? The movement of people across regions and territories are known as migration of people. It can be internal migration or international migration. What is internal? Internal migration, when we say, it does not change the size of population because within the country they are going to migrate. Okay, so it does not change the size of population of a country, but it influences the distribution of population in a nation. Okay, from one place to another place, when they move, it will change the distribution of population, but not the size of the population. It plays an important role in changing the composition and distribution of population. In India, people migrate generally from rural area to urban area. There are various factors, okay, because of facilities. What are the various factors? That may be divided into two: the push factor and pull factor. What is pushing the people from rural to urban area? Since they are not able to get employment opportunity, there is unemployment and underemployment. What is unemployment? They are not able to get any job. What is underemployment? They may get job, but they are not paid properly to their work. Because of that, the people from rural area may migrate to urban area. What are the pull factors? Push factors mean தள்ளுது. Pull factor இழுக்குது. Urban area இழுக்குது people. Village வந்து தள்ளுது. Okay. Pull factors: employment opportunity in urban areas, and also they are able to get higher wages. Okay. So next one, migrants constitute about 37% of population. 48% from male and for 52% from female. Okay, migrants are causing increase of population in urban area by 37%. Under this, we are going to study about population composition, okay, age composition, sex ratio, occupational structure, population dynamics, problems of overpopulation. Okay, all these we are going to study under this. So it refers to the characteristics such as age. Okay, I told you already, they'll calculate the age of the people when they take census. They ask about the sex. They ask about the marital status, whether they are married or unmarried. They'll ask about the caste, religion, what language they speak, what about their educational level, what about their occupation. All these will be taken into consideration. It helps us to understand the social, economic, and demographic structure of population. What is age composition? Age composition, when we say, some people are dependent population and some are independent population. Who are dependent population? Those who are less than 15 years and greater than 60 are known as dependent population. Why they are called so? Because they are not able to work. They have to depend on someone. So they are called as dependent population. Whereas the people between this age, okay, from 16 to 59, they are known as independent population. So in our country, we have 37.5% of dependent population and 62.5% of independent population. Next, let us see sex ratio. That is, how will they calculate it? The number of people, that is 1000 male. How many females are there? The number of female to 1000 male. Okay, if there is 1000 male, among them how many females are there? Okay, within an area, when they take into consideration 1000 males, among them how many females are there? Generally it is less. The female population is less. Okay, in our country it is generally 904. As per 2011 census, it was 940. Okay, as per 2011 census, it was 940. Okay, only in Kerala the female population outnumber the male population, that was 1084. When we talk about Union Territory, in Pondicherry it was with 1038 female population. The lowest sex ratio is recorded in Diu and Daman that is 618. Okay, only 618 female population was there out of 1000 male population. Okay, 4000 male population. Next, we are going to see about literacy rate. Literacy, when we say, it is not necessary to get diplomas, degrees, so many things. Just to know to read and write their own language is called as literacy. Okay, literacy rate, when we say the percentage of literate people to the total population is termed as literacy rate. As per 2011 census, India's literacy rate is 74.04 percentage. Male literacy rate is 82.14 percentage. Female literacy rate is 65.46 percentage. Kerala ranks first with 93.91 percentage. The lowest literacy rate is 63.82 percentage in Bihar. Okay, next let us see about the occupational structure. When we talk about occupation, we can divide that into three types. Okay, those who are economically active are known as workers. The workers may be divided into main workers, marginal workers, and non-workers. Who are the main workers? Those who are able to get work at least for 6 months in a year are called as main workers. Those who are able to get less than 6 months work, they are called as marginal workers. Those who haven't worked at all, they are called as non-workers. Okay, marginal workers, main workers, non-workers. Main workers may get more than 6 months of work. Marginal workers less than 6 months of work. Those who are not working, they are non-workers. Next, what is population dynamics? It is a field that tracks factors related to changes in the size of population and its characteristics. The size of population and characteristics undergoes changes constantly. What are the various problems of overpopulation? Okay, what are the various problems of overpopulation? Overpopulation may causes overcrowding, unemployment, underemployment, low standard of living, malnutrition, mismanagement of natural and agricultural resources, unhealthy environment, etc. I think you can understand overcrowding. When there is excess population, automatically there will be overcrowd. Okay, நிறைய ஜனங்கள் இருக்குது. மக்கள் தொகை ஜாஸ்தியாச்சுன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக நிறைய ஜனங்கள் ஒரு இடத்துல இருக்குது. As I said, unemployment, they are not able to get job. Underemployment, they may not be able to get job as per their qualification. Low standard of living, they may not get more income. Their standard of living will be less. Malnutrition, they may not able to get proper food, nutritious food. Because of that, malnutrition may happen. And they are not able to manage properly the natural and agricultural resources. Their environment may not be healthy environment. Okay, next we are going to see about urbanization. What is urbanization? It is nothing but the movement of people from rural to urban area. Okay, the process of society's transformation from rural to urban is known as urbanization. So urbanization in India, when we study about, the level of urbanization is measured in terms of percentage of urban population. When a city has more than 1 million has 1 million and more population, then it is called as million cities. When a city has more than 10 million population, it is called as mega cities. Okay, from 1 million to 1 million and more is called as million cities. When it is more than 10 million, that is called as mega city. What are the various impacts of urbanization? When all people move from rural to urban area, what are the impacts? It creates urban sprawl. Urban area may be spreading out, stretching out. Okay, sprawl அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக விரிகிறது அர்பன் ஏரியா. ஓகே, நம்ம இப்போல்லாம் சொல்கிறோம் எக்ஸ்டென்ஷன் ஏரியான்னு. தட் இஸ் ஒன்லி அர்பன் ஸ்ப்ரால். நெக்ஸ்ட், ஓவர் க்ரௌடிங். ஆல்ரெடி வி ஹவ் செட், நிறைய பேர் ரூரல் டு அர்பன் வரப்போ ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக க்ரௌடு வந்து ஜாஸ்தியாக இருக்கும். ஷார்ட்டேஜ் ஆஃப் ஹவுசஸ். தெர் மே பி shortage of houses. Okay, because already there was a fixed number of houses. When the people come from rural area, they may not be able to get that houses. அதனால என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, they may form slums. They may form their huts in outskirts and they may live there. Okay, formation of slums. Because of that, their traffic congestion, you can see day by day their traffic is going on increasing because of that traffic congestion, because of heavy population or high population. Water may not be available, water scarcity, drainage problem may happen. Okay, problem of solid waste management, they may not dispose the solid waste in a proper way. Increases the rate of crime. All these are the various problems or impacts of urbanization. Next, we can see what is human development. It is a process of enlarging the range of people's choice, increasing their opportunities for education, healthcare, income, and empowerment. What are the various human development indicators? It is the population trends, health outcomes, educational achievements, national income, composition of resources, work and employment, human security, human and capital mobility, perceptions of well-being, and status of fundamental rights. All these are the various human development indicators, we can say. How can we measure this? Okay, that is human development index, which may be measured with the help of life expectancy. What is life expectancy? That is how many years we may survive. It is the average, okay, age how much the human can survive. That is at present 65. Okay, literacy, I told you already, at least they have to know to read and write. And income, what is their standard of living? All these will decide the human development index. Human development classification, when we say on the basis of human development index, the human development may be classified as low, medium, high, and high human development. Okay, so we have studied about various things regarding this population in this lesson, in this part. Okay, in the next video, we'll study about the transportation. Okay, thank you, students. Thank you, one and all.